back, guys, to another episode of DB Sports Boxing Edition with myself named Joel. Um, Very interesting week of boxing this week. It was a very interesting week. It was a good night of fights. There was a whole lot of fights this weekend with Prince, the Prince guy out there who threw his first U.S. show. So it was a very good night of USA some fights. Let's go to start off first with Andy Cruz. With Andy Cruz's fight, this was a big step up for Andy Cruz. He's been talking a lot about Keyshawn. He wants to fight Keyshawn. It was a very good performance by him. He finished him. That was very good. He showed that he could get hurt and then still push through it. He got rocked at 2 different times. So that was actually pretty good for him to show us that he could get rocked and still push through. That was a very good performance. Next fight is brother-in David Morrell. Man, Morrell, that's a highly touted guy right there, who a lot of people think is supposed to be the next big star, who's chasing Benavidez that allegedly Canelo don't want to fight. Wasn't the greatest performance. He had no jab behind his punches. He was loading up a lot on the punches, especially that right hand. That right hand was loading up a lot. It was not the most exciting fight in the card. It wasn't his best performance, but I'm not going to be too critical on the dude because not every fight's going to be the greatest performance. This was a step up. The guy he fought was not an easy guy. That guy only got knocked out once, and it was by Alter Better Beef. And Alter Better Beef knocks out everybody that he gets in the ring with for the most part. So it was a pretty good test. It was a good little thing right there. I think he needs to go back to getting some certain fights again, build that back up. Personally, my personal opinion. I know he wants the David fight. I'm not mad if that fight happens next, but I don't think that will happen next. Jump into the Big Baby Anderson versus Martin Macrobi. That was a fight right there. That was a fight right there. Highly entertaining fight. It didn't last very long, but highly entertaining fight. I like to speak up on little Big Baby right there. That dude is talented. He's just not the biggest heavyweight in the world. Highly talented, though. The way he was ripping a lot of those combinations, that guy could fight. He just unfortunately fought a dude that was big and could rip some shots and didn't get hurt by none of his shots. I would like Big Baby to work on his technique a little more, especially defensively. He gets a little lazy on defensively. I don't think it's the end of the world for him. He could come back. He could beat up on some dudes in top rank, and he'll be all good. Martin Macrobi, that one, I want to see him. I want to see him and Zane. That's the fight that I want to see. Them two fighting. Oof. Them two. That big boy he's a big boy right there. Get to see him maybe against a Big Baby Miller. That would be an interesting fight. I'm not mad at that. The next one, Andy Reese versus Big Baby Miller. I think a lot of people had too much expectations for Andy in this fight. He was out for 2 years. And from what I believe, he broke his hand during the fight, or he messed it up pretty good. I've seen some pictures of it. He was out for 2 years. What do you expect out of a guy who's been out for 2 years? Can't really expect much from him when he's been out for 2 years. And he just didn't seem like himself. It's not the Andy. I think a lot of people expect Andy to be the Andy that fought AJ. No, that's not that Andy anymore. That Andy's not him anymore, unless he continues staying active, which he does need to be active. And then Big Baby Miller, he looked a little better than his last fight. The last fight, he didn't look the greatest. I know he lost a good amount of weight. He won that fight. This fight was not a draw. He was not a draw at all. Big Baby Miller won it, but since Andy's a highly touted guy and he was loved in the LA area, they made it the best they can, and it was a draw for the crowd. Pitbull Cruz versus Jose Venezuela. I predicted that. Pitbull Cruz is one dimensional. That is a one dimensional guy right there. He will only throw pretty much two shots. He doesn't fight behind a jab or nothing. He will just either loop a right hand over to a left uppercut to the body or loop a left hand to a right uppercut to the body. He could get outboxed very easy by a lot of people, especially the better boxers in that group. He's not as good as people portray. He has balls. He will fight you, but he's not as good as people think. And Jose Venezuela gave his best performance of his career. That was the best performance of his career right there. And it's a very good touching story of him winning and doing it for his parents. That was actually a pretty good story right there. And I was very happy for him that he won. Of course, Robert Garcia with another fighter. He gets him somebody else and he makes them into a champion that the other coach couldn't. I'm very happy for Jose Venezuela. He has a lot of potential. Most likely we're seeing him versus Tank next. That's probably the fight that we're going to see. And then the main event, Crawford versus Madrimov. That was not the best fight in the world. Madrimov, I just think Crawford expected him to come a little more, especially with the wild stuff. And he didn't get it, so it didn't make it the most exciting fight in the world. But, hey, Crawford won. I don't think he looked the greatest at 54. But, hey, I think there are some other guys that will give him a better fight at 54. That'll make him more entertaining and show him his full skill set. He's already been when he was in a knockout spree. He was going to be due for not the greatest performance in the world. But no, I think it was a decently good fight. Crawford won. It was close. Not as wide as the judges put it, but I think Crawford won the fight. But overall, it was a really good night of fights. I was highly entertained by the night. I hope we get another one. I know the Prince dude wants to put the Alter Batteries and Bivol card pretty good. From what I believe, he wants it to be Shakur Stevenson versus Zapata, which is a fight that we've been wanting. I think Haney versus Pitbull Cruz on that one too. Hopefully he puts a Morrell into there too again, or Andy Cruz. Some of these guys, some of these heavyweights again. I wouldn't be mad, but no, it was a good night of fights. And thank you guys. Hopefully you guys like and subscribe for another video.